Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Alavane here. In the last one we just finished off part 1 and part 2 of Catacombs. And now we're going to head on to part 3. So, other than part 4, which is a little bit longer, most Catacombs are fairly short quests. Now another big changelog that they've done, this quest here, used to be able to talk to the librarian right about here, and then he would slowly start walking in that direction. At that point you would be able to At that point you would be able to just head off to the west here and continue the quest, generally working back from the last one that you got to collect to the beginning. However, now it won't actually let you do that. So we can go here and we can actually we cannot pick the lock. We need to wait for this guy here. Sometimes these NPCs, they just talk too much. Alright, so we can head off to the west here. However, we need to head off east here, as they are particular in which order we do them now, as the first 2 books that we acquire, they have a crest near them. So if we don't go in order, we won't get all the crests in order to be able to get our last one that we require.
You must be near one of the secret compartments.
So the first one here is in that secret compartment.
Ruffles the pages of the books.
And as you see, once we step in, first off we get a bit of lag, but aside from that, it does spawn in some enemies here. So just be prepared. I have seen some newer players get overwhelmed as they're not expecting these enemies. Alright, and here we have a trap. Now the traps in this quest here really aren't too bad. And for the most part can just be completely avoided. Alright, so I did want to point out, as we saw, there were 2 items to collect. There was the crest and then the book there on the lectern. So make sure you grab both of them. If not, you'll just have to come back to this part here. So I just wanted to open up that shrine in case of. Alright, so from here we're going to continue the path. We actually don't want to go down there. We can go down, as you see there are enemies to kill. However, they are completely avoidable by just walking around the edge here.
Duality has returned. The shelves seem slightly askew here.
Alright, so for this one here with the giant blood patch and this is optional, not required at all. There is a skeletal mage behind here, and he can be a dangerous foe, as well as some archers and a spider.
Among the webs is a chest. Clear.
It also has, I'm sure you've noticed there, the control panel, and that goes off of those traps there. Now they aren't, again, a very strong trap. If you're quick enough, you can actually just get in here and get the loot and not have to worry. Again, ultimately, I don't go anywhere without a trapper. Usually, I'm the trapper.
You hear a chittering sound.
And I
from
definitely
behind
recommend,
the
especially if
shelf.
you're newer to the game, if you're playing with some friends, just go with a nice balanced party. Casters, healers, melee, and of course some form of trapper. Alright, so here we have our second of the book fragments, as well as again another crest. When we do pick up the book from the lectern here, it does spawn in these couple of spiders, so again, just watch yourself. Alright, so now back to where the skeletal mage is. If we actually head north, again, we can go down, not required, but if we again sneak around the top, here we go. It will bring us to this room. Just one moment here while we eliminate these library pests.
Unwanted guests.
Alright.
A trail of blood drops leads to this section of shelves, and then stops.
Alright, again, this is our last one. So this is actually where those crests come into play. See that shadow bird?
Block your way. Behind them lies a heavy metal gate.
I'm going to actually call my harlot. Alright, so this one here has about the only annoying trap. As you can see, there are 3 giant blades. You can avoid them by just walking up just enough to click the fragment. However, again, if you have a trapper, you can just grab that trap, enter in those 2 crests from the first 2 rooms that we went in. We'll open up the door here. And that's it. It does give us a beautiful end chest here. Now I want to point out, so a lot of people at this point, again, especially if you're used to the old one, they recall as soon as they pick up the fragment there. However, just outside this room, our bookcase moved, and here's Thaddeus again. So we're going to talk to him. Not only does it give us a tiny bit of experience, but ultimately it saves us from having to run back every time. And coming from someone who's played this content a lot before that point, it got real old, real fast, having to run back and forth every time. So from here we're going to drop actually down a little bit further to here. Alright. So this quest part, this is part 4. This is actually quite a long one in comparison to the others. As well as there is a bit more experience out of this. In order to get the full ransack one, you will need some sort of AoE breaking ability, such as the RD's Rune Arm Fireball, or if you have like even just range damage helps. The reason being, as you approach, a lot of these will auto-detonate, as it were. If they auto-detonate and spawn the enemy, and that's what breaks it, it doesn't actually give you count for it breaking. Meaning, it eliminates the possibility of getting ransacked and such. Conquest is fairly easy to get. Either walk past or break all the sarcophagus, and it will spawn in a whole bunch of enemies. each one of them potentially can spawn in, as you'll notice here, when we're breaking. So, some of them won't spawn in here.
First of the line in the reach.
However, some more will spawn. Make sure they're breakable there. When we get close, at times. So if you don't break them, it's kind of like a chance that they'll break open and spawn in. However, if you manually do it, there is no chance. And though it takes considerably longer to break them like this than it does to run past, as they're not guaranteed to spawn. Only the ones with enemies inside of them will break open. But sorry. However, one, it gives you that extra bonus as well. A little bit later coming up, as the way this quest is set up, it's a giant square, ending up on this side here. Actually, there's a couple now from this side. That's the other bonus of having some sort of a blast type ability. You can actually kill these guys on the other side. And later on, actually at, I believe it is next level, at level 6, level 6 Artie, you actually get an ability which is a very, very handy one at level. A little less handy as you are leveling up, but it is called Flame Turret, and that will also attack through the doors there, making it super, super handy. Ultimately, I do like to break everything myself, as in that chest there, if you saw it there, here, I'll just go back. That chest there on the left hand side here, that has a key, and that key is required to unlock some of the doors, even all the way back here. So it does have you coming back, and on your second pass through, if you did not go through and kill everything like I am doing now, it will kind of force you to go back and do that. So some of them might spawn on the first run, some of them might spawn on the second run. Ultimately, I like to spawn them myself. That way I don't have to worry about them catching me off guard. Again, it does make for a little bit slower progression. As again, we're going for that breakable bonus as well.
The Emerald Gate is shut. You will have to raise it.
Alright, that one I'm going to leave here for just a moment. We're going to head on in here. So sometimes when you open these doors, there will already be enemies spawned in the rooms, aside from ones that you're spawning in. Ooh, we got the Reaper. And that's another thing with them being in Reaper difficulty. Honestly, I don't like to chance enemies spawning in and then just having a Reaper essentially spawn right on top of me. Especially as this character doesn't have the most amount of hit points that he could. Summon our hireling here. So as you can see in there, or here and there, the skeletons are trying to shoot us. Now, if the skeletons shoot and break one of them, this is what kind of annoys me. The skeletons count if they break, if they shoot and break the sarcophagus. However, if you walk past and they just auto-explode, it doesn't really count. That does not count for it being broken. Ouch. That hurt.
A plaque upon the floor reads, Ugare Dryden, Prelate of the Flame. You hear a clatter from the hallway. The Emerald Gate is open.
Alright, so as you can see, we finished off the one path. It does get a little bit quicker here as we're going through. But again, I did mention that this was one of the longer ones. And it is a little bit difficult to get all of those. So another thing people do is they do just smash them and they run away. The archers themselves, they never actually walk any closer. So a lot of times they are just ignored and left. And really, to save time, that isn't a bad strategy there. I do gotta warn though, if you leave too many of them behind, it will start to give you dungeon alert. Because though they haven't spotted you per se and are not chasing after you, I shouldn't say spotted, as though they're not chasing after you, they do still know you are here and are still firing towards you even though they can't hit you. Alright. So another thing to point out is the doors on the inside here, most of them are solid. There is one, as you see here, on the eastern side. It is just a standard grate. You can actually pick this lock, and inside here, this is that optional to find Dryden family treasure. Just wanted to break those ones in the corner before I forget to move on. Okay, with that ray spell. Really gotta watch myself that he doesn't hit me again. Oh, one of them is a healing debuff. Cool. Alright. Go.
A plaque upon the floor reads, Emilian Dryden, Abbess of Greycliff and Mistress of the Church Treasury.
So another strategy, if you have, is to put your fighter or tank or somebody at the door here. It'll force them to not be able to pass. So if you have, you know, like myself, a range type character, we can stand out back here, and it basically forces them to not be able to pass until obviously they have killed your tank or whoever is standing in the way, allowing your squishy spellcasters and the like to remain outside here and just help them with arrows, spells, or whatever they happen to have. Any type of ranged damage. Alright, and once you loot that beautiful chest, it auto gives you that optional here. Alright, so we're just starting on our third side now. So we're getting there, guys. I'm sorry for taking so long. Actually coming up next level, we'll actually have a little bit of assistance from one of my longtime friends in the game here. He has taken a fairly large break from the game, as many players do. I myself have taken numerous breaks. Don't let that discourage you. Just like any MMO, this game truly captures my heart, and I will never fully leave. However, any amount of time like spent in here, like if you spend as much time as I have, I'm nearing, again, 10,000 hours in this game.
A plaque upon the floor reads, This
generally
in memory
you need a little break here and there, so that you don't burn yourself out and get completely bored there. But there is a lot of quests here, and they're constantly adding more content, so it is, you know, easier to stay in the game. But again, once you've been there, done that, you've kind of done everything you want to do, you know what, a break is needed. So he's taking a break there, and he's just, again, getting back into the game. But as this game is always changing, always evolving, he's just kind of going back and relearning how to play. So we'll have that to look forward to coming up in the next level. So this is what I was talking about, when if we get too close, that they just automatically break there without actually giving us the count for it.
The scratching sound from Gerard's tube reaches new, frenzied heights.
Oh boy, a whole lot of lag. Unfortunately, that is something that does happen a fair amount in this game, and as a player, I'm sure you've experienced already more than your fair share. Another question I get asked a lot is, why do I always
The
jump?
amethyst
Like,
gate
I am
is shut. You will have to find a way to race.
constantly jumping, and there is a strategic reason for that here. Archers and the like, when they try to hit you, if you are standing still, here, I'll actually go through this right here. Let's drop that, summon a couple more arrows. Didn't mean to summon that many. I do want to block those. Alright. So if we actually go in our inventory menu to our details, it will actually show us all of our stats here. So there's my 30 armor class. If I'm blocking, I have 1 DR and an extra 2 armor class. As well, under here it shows your bonus to hit, which is mine currently is 22. Now if you're watching right there where it says that plus 22, once I start walking, that actually drops down to 18. Once I stand still, it doesn't go away. However, if we are not moving and we just tap and jump here, you'll notice that doesn't go away. So it's still counting us as standing still. And that comes into play later on with some of the other abilities that we have, which, while we're standing still, it'll actually increase our range damage. Now, what I do want to point out, if you watch that 22, if I hold the jump button, it actually drops to 18, and it won't go back down until I release the jump. So, for this here, just make sure that you're just kind of tapping on the jump, like that, and there. Now, where it comes in strategically is the archers here. Not only are you standing still and you're getting all those extra bonuses for standing still, but archers and spellcasters and other individuals who use range damage, sometimes they just have a straight out chance to miss you. It doesn't prompt you with a miss chance because it was just that big of a miss. Even with melee, sometimes they have trouble, if you can jump up high enough, sometimes it will just straight out miss your hitbox. And essentially it's just an extra defensive ability. I don't recommend doing it as much if you are a melee style character, because just like it missed the hitbox for you, or them hitting your hitbox, it has problems hitting theirs too. So yeah, here it is a good example. So if we're standing still, I'm just going to slide over. He can hit us, we're doing that. However, if we're jumping up and down, he's not even getting that miss chance because he's trying to fire where we're going to be. So that's where that that jumping tactic really comes into play. So where it is saying miss, that is, we are still in their hitbox. They are scoring a successful hit on our hitbox. However, they failed their roll for the RNG, and they weren't able to bypass like your armor class, or if your dodge is high, they might not be able to bypass your dodge, and just other little bonuses like that.
You hear a clatter from the
So
hall.
it definitely adds in a little extra defensive chance. And yeah, so here we are finally on our last turn. I know it's been, again, we've been in here for a little bit longer than need to be. And as you can see, we are starting to get that breakable bonus. Finally, I know, but this will again save us time running back through. So there's our breakable smash. We have our aggression bonus.
Drill dries. erupt from the still-sealed tomb of Gerard the Dragon. Whatever it is.
There's our second tier of that vandal. So it's no longer mischief bonus, it is now up to our vandal. And there's that chest from that we were able to see from the beginning. So we are right at the end now. Alright, so they're all taken care of. We can now grab our chest. And inside here just has the key to unlock these doors here. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't actually let us use our pick lock ability on them. If we try, it does give us a notice stating that the door cannot be picked. So you do need to unfortunately go through and actually go and pick up that key. From there, with Plague Reaper. So from here, all we've got to do is get to the end of each of these rooms, just like before, and pull a lever.
On the floor reads, Anselm Dragon, Sword of the Light Undying. You hear a click from the direction of Gerard's tomb.
Alright, so from this point it really doesn't matter which way we go, as we've already broken all these sarcophagus. So now what happens sometimes when you make that first trip through, only half of them break. Now you'd have to fight off that second half. So the way I had done it, it takes a little bit longer at the beginning, but it ultimately saves you, in my opinion, saves more time overall, as well as nets you that extra experience. So I definitely recommend, if you do have some form of blast ability, to get that extra experience. If not, I still recommend breaking everything you can, killing off those enemies while you can, and going from there. So I'm just gonna...
A plaque upon the floor reads, Herein lies Lombric Dragon, Bishop and Defender of the Faith.
And there's our ransack, so we actually don't need to break any more. So I'm gonna stop employing the rune arm there to break them, and actually show you what happens when you step near them and they break. So we're still only at onslaught though.
You hear a click from the direction of Gerard's tomb.
So now we're just going to head to that last one. We just need one more. And if you're ever not sure how many you need, you can just look on here. Shows at the top we got the first one. We're missing the second one and the third one. So the second one here is just the north door. That one was our optional. So it's just our door right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the ones that I can. Alright, so because he's a warrior, we can actually drag him outside here. And I'm actually also going to show you this trick here. So if you get a hireling or a party member or somebody to stand in the door, we're able to walk past them. However, the enemies cannot. So I'm also going to point out here, right now we're at 224 breakables. So as we run in here, and those break, we didn't get a single count for any of them. Alright, so this is the trick right here. As you see, they're not attacking the hireling. That is because I still have the aggro. Of course, they are skeletons and other undead. They generally tend to change their aggro. So did swap to the hireling there at that point. However, that first little bit here, I have the aggro, and they try to find a path to me rather than attacking the hireling. Of course, it doesn't last long. With a proper tank in your group, it won't be hard to stay there, as well as you can always break the, or attack them. Well, I mean, I guess as a form of break, but break what's left of their bones. And anyway, once you get that last, third, and final lever, it actually opens up to the center here. Just down the stairs. Now I do want to point out, it does have a fair amount of enemies in here. There we go. One of which is actually a named enemy, so just be careful, just rush it in there. We don't want to get you obviously caught unaware. Now the named one, as if you look carefully, is actually slightly bigger than the rest. And that is the Ravenous Ghast.
With the last ghoul gone,
once you've killed them all,
free to examine Gerard's tomb.
Let's just get a kill. We can enter in here. Now there are
on the floor reads Gerard Dryden, the doomed bishop. May the darkness lift from thy
We got our loot here. Unfortunately, nothing special. And then we just gotta click on the sarcophagus here. And it lets us search the tomb. We can actually count the skulls here. And that completes, like as you saw, we did get a very large amount of XP out of this. Specifically, we got 10,360. So it is a nice chunk there. And finally, we have Bishop Greylight there. And he ends up coming right to your end area, so if you just wait just a moment before leaving, you'll have the guy right here. Talk to him. And again, he proceeds the quest to the next part of the chain. Alright, well, thank you guys all for watching, and I will catch you guys in part 5. Alright, have a good one all.